UFC Fight Night Perth, Carlos Ulberg versus Dominick Reyes just ended, and what a UFC Fight Night card this was. And this is going to be my UFC Perth post-fight for the entire card. It was a little bit of an exaggeration at the beginning there. Okay, the card was really a one-fight card. Carlos Ulberg and Dominick Reyes was the one notable fight on this card where Ulberg got a brutal KO. We'll talk about that. But we're also going to break down every single fight on this card. If you guys enjoy post-fight videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's jump right into it. I mean, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, Jimmy Crute, Ivan Erslan in the co-main event. Crippler crossface. We got Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Taveras. We got Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. I told you Neil Magny would whoop him like a child. We got a lot to talk about, but let's start off with the very first fight of the night. We have Loma. Why is it scrolling down? We got Loma. Look at this, fighting me. I wasn't doing that. It was scrolling down on its own. First fight of the night, we have Loma Lookboonmee versus Elisha Thainara. First round, Thainara landed a nasty elbow, took her down. Lookboonmee would get back up and then got taken down again. Nasty 12-6 elbows, nasty ground and pound, nasty damage to end the round. Second round, Thainara got a takedown and basically just controlled her, landed some good ground and pound elbows. Looked like at moments maybe she was working towards a finish. Clearly won the second round. Third round, more of the same. More clinch in the third round. Lookboonmee had some moments. I think in the first round they were kind of brawling towards the end after Lookboonmee was able to get up. But essentially Thainara was just a superior grappler and just used that the entire fight. Lookboonmee would fight out of position. She would get up against the fence and she would get ragdolled right back down. She had no answers for the grappling. The striking, she had some moments. I remember, I think towards the end of the first round, landed a couple good shots right after she got up in like the last 10 seconds. But Thainara just had her way with her. Just took her down, controlled her, beat her up. In the first round, it was nasty 12-6 elbows. There was moments where Thainara was looking for finishes, but she just wasn't able to get there with the ground and pound. And Lookboonmee was super durable and super tough, and she was able to survive. But Thainara wins 30-27 decision victory. Next fight on the card. Why is the UFC's website so trash? I click on that and it did that. We have Brando Peričić versus Elisha Ellison. Peričić brutally KO'd him in the first round. Basically, they were trading back and forth like dog shit heavyweights. Peričić was getting the better of the exchanges. Rocked him with the right hand. Chased him down to the fence. Starts smashing him against the fence. Then they broke for a second. Ellison shot a takedown, ate a knee, or clinched up, ate a knee. They broke again. Then he shot a double leg. And Peričić starts smashing with Travis Brown elbows to the side of the head. And Ellison kind of falls because he's being damaged by these side of the head elbows. Paul Felder's like, he's pulling guard. That's a horrible decision. No, he's not pulling guard. He got smashed. He was hurt badly. And once he fell to his back, Peričić just starts letting loose, smashing his head, dribbling his head off the canvas like a basketball. And eventually the referee steps in. I mean, he was out cold. It was a brutal finish. And Peričić gets it done. Like I expected him to. I picked him via brutal KO. But yeah, there wasn't really too much to this fight. It was basically a quick first round kind of garbage heavyweight matchup. But who knows, Peričić? I would pick him over Tai Tuivasa tomorrow, who's an outright scrub. So maybe we got some fresh meat in the heavyweight division. He beat up Elisha Ellison, which, I mean, every time I read that name, I think that's a woman's name. So there's that. But Peričić gets it done, first round KO. Next fight on the card, we have Michelle Montague versus Luana Carolina. Essentially, Montague just out-grappled her the entirety of the fight. Outstruck her a bit in the first round, then took her down, controlled her a bit. Second round did the same. First round, she got cut open. I can't remember if it was an elbow or what. Montague got cut open. It was a pretty nasty cut. Second round, got an early takedown, was controlling her. Looked like she was going to cruise through the second round. Carolina throws an illegal up kick to the face. The ref stands him up, takes the point, and then tells Montague, you don't get the position because you weren't in top position. It was like I forgot the wording they used, but they were like, you were entering the position. You weren't actually there. So that made no sense. So there were some striking exchanges where Carolina started to do a little bit of work there, but then I believe she got taken down again. Lost the second round. Third round, same thing. Just got out-grappled. Carolina really just had nothing to offer. I mean, it was a lot like the first fight in a way, where she would just get taken down, controlled. Montague was looking to set up some submissions, looked for the rear naked choke a couple times, wasn't able to find it. And Luana Carolina just, she had moments on the feet, but on the ground, she was a complete and utter scrub. And even her illegal up kick didn't help bail her out in that second round. And Michelle Montague gets it done via decision. Next fight on the card, we have Colby Thicknesse versus, how do you pronounce his name? Josias Musasa. I don't know why that escaped me. Maybe because it's 7 p.m. in Vegas. Maybe that's why. Colby Thicknesse gets a unanimous decision win. If you thought Colby Thicknesse won this fight, you're mentally ill. I'll be honest. Anyone that could watch this fight would know that Musasa won this fight. So the first round, and by the way, Colby Thicknesse cheated to get this win to begin with, but I knew the judges were going to fuck him. I knew before the scorecards were even read that Thicknesse would get the decision, even though it would be a robbery, but also Thicknesse cheated to even have a chance to get that robbery. First round, Musasa's walking him down, beating the fuck out of Colby Thicknesse, landing big shots, have him just bouncing all around the cage. With, I think, maybe 2 minutes, 30 seconds or so in the first round, Thicknesse gets a takedown. And Musasa has nothing to offer. He's like throwing back from bottom because he's not trying to push on the hips. He's not trying to regain guard. He's not even pushing off the fence half the time. I'm like, oh, the referee might jump in, and Musasa could literally put his feet on the fence and try to push off and create a scramble and use his athleticism to get out of this position. He's full mounted. Thicknesse is doing damage, but it's not like fight-ending damage. But any full mount, ground and pound from posture is going to be close to fight-ending damage. And the referee's looking at it close, but he's not really getting there. And then the end of the round, Thicknesse looks for a rear naked choke. Musasa's giving a thumbs up. There's no hooks. It looks kind of deep, though. I think there's a guy in a co-main event that would have tapped to it. Okay, so anyway, Musasa survives the first round. Now, first round is kind of debatable, but not really. I think Thicknesse won the first round. He had over 2.5 minutes of control time and did damage. I think that counteracts any of the damage and control and positional, and just, walking him down, cage control, and landing big shots of the first half of the round. So Thicknesse gets the first round. But come the second round, he's exhausted. You can already tell. I could tell he was exhausted. I thought it was done. I thought Musasa was a lock going into the second round, essentially. You could tell towards, as soon as Thicknesse got up at the end of the first, I was like, oh, he's done. Second round, Musasa dominates him again. Stuffs every takedown, lights him up on the feet, he's beating his ass. He's clearly the fresher fighter. He's not tired at all. And he's whooping Thicknesse like a dog. He's walking him down, whooping him on the feet. And Thicknesse shooting kind of beta, effeminate, cucky vibes type takedowns. Doesn't get a single one. Third round, I think Musasa is going to get a finish. In the first minute or so, he's walking him down, beating him up. Thicknesse looks exhausted. He looks like just a wounded animal up against the fence that's ready just to succumb to his injuries. And then as Musasa's throwing a punch, he's perfectly squared up. He's not moving. Thicknesse kicks him straight in the groin as hard as he can. There's no, he jumped into it. There's no, the positional control. This was a clear groin shot that whether it was intentional or not, it looked intentional. And it was a damaging groin shot. And also it helped Thicknesse because he was completely exhausted and Musasa was fresh. And I really do believe he did it intentionally. As soon as it landed, he sat down for his breather. He's like, oh, I'm getting a breather out of this. They should have made him run around the cage the entire time while Musasa recovered. Now, Musasa taking the groin shot, it hurt. It hurt him. He took the full 5 minutes to recover. And I knew right away, as soon as the fight was starting back up, I said, Thicknesse is going to use that time. I said, he's going to shoot a takedown right away. Shoots a takedown right away. Doesn't get it. It's defended well. Musasa was defending well. But you can tell Thicknesse has a second win. He's just had a full 5-minute break. Musasa was recovering from a groin shot in that time. And Musasa still starts landing good shots. And then at the 2-minute mark, Thicknesse gets a takedown, gets the full mount. Musasa's like a fish on his back. And Thicknesse doesn't do a whole lot of damage. He's in full mount, but Musasa's controlling the posture. He postures up for a little bit. Musasa's throwing back. Thicknesse is missing. He's kind of rolling with the shots a little bit. And that's basically how the fight ends. I thought Musasa clearly won the second and third round. I don't care what you say about that last 2 minutes of, he had full mount. A lot of those shots didn't land, and he didn't even throw a whole lot of shots. Musasa whooped his ass for the first 2.5, 3 minutes of that round. But Thicknesse cheated to get that third round. And I knew it. I said, oh, he got the takedown. He got control time. He got full mount. He did off a little bit of damage. They're going to give him the third round. But what an embarrassment, man. Colby Thicknesse did not deserve this win. Musasa is clearly the better fighter. His grappling is absolute dog shit. Musasa's grappling is dog shit, but so is Thicknesse's striking. He looked really effeminate Cucky vibes the entire fight. But Musasa loses. I think it's a robbery anyway, but he cheated. Thicknesse cheated to get it done. And it really aggravated me watching it live. Anyway, next fight on the card. We have Jamie Mullarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. This one actually really pissed me off. Essentially, first round, Mullarkey takes his back early, gets a takedown, maybe 4-minute mark, like a minute in, takes his back, has his back for the entire round. Second round, Mullarkey's mixing in the grappling, but not really having a lot of success, but landing shots upstairs because Bedoya's worried about the takedown because the first round he got controlled the entire round. But Mullarkey landed the better shots in the second round, won the second round. So now he has 1 and 2 in the bag. Bedoya needs to get a finish. Bedoya starts whooping him in the third round, starts getting aggressive, starts using his boxing, starts throwing combinations, starts landing power shots. He's walking him down. He's beating Mullarkey up. Mullarkey's face is red, but his eyebrows are white as can be. He's getting beaten and bloodied and just absolutely busted up in the third round. And while Bedoya was aggressive, he wasn't aggressive enough. He could have found a finish in that third round. I mean, he whooped Jamie Mullarkey in that third round, but it just wasn't enough. He just didn't have enough to overcome what happened in the first 2 rounds. The takedown in the first round, the control time in the first round set him up for failure in the second round. And then once he realized Jamie Mullarkey was slowing down, getting tired, and not being able to find the grappling in the second round, he was able to let loose in the third round, especially considering Mullarkey had slowed down. But it was already too late, and he should have went all out for the finish. There was moments where I'm like, oh, just run him down and whoop him, and you might be able to find a finish. He was landing good shots on the chin of Mullarkey, but Mullarkey gets it done. He wins via 29-28 decision. And I really think Bedoya's grappling in that first round failed him because how you get taken down, and basically Mullarkey had to expel no energy because he had his back the entire time, and Bedoya really didn't make him work. So Mullarkey gets it done via decision, winning the first 2 rounds. Bedoya coming on strong in the third, and Mullarkey being able to hold on to that win. Next fight on the card, we have Cam Rowston versus Andre Petroski. My pick on this was perfect. I never forgot that Jacob Malkoun finish, and this was very similar. Cam landed, I think it was a left hook, and it wasn't even that crazy of a left hook, but it was like a grazing shot. Petroski just went down like a dead body. And he recovered on the ground. I think he tried to look for like an arm bar. He tried to regain control and hold posture of Rowston. But then Rowston just started landing brutal ground and pound elbows, big shots, big punches, throwing a lot of shots too. He knew the finish was there and KOs him in the first round. 2 minutes and 41 seconds into the first round, finishes off Petroski. Petroski might finally get that Bo Nickel fight he wanted. But yeah, I mean, up until the shot that dropped Petroski, it was back and forth, but Rowston was winning. He was landing good kicks. Petroski was landing some of his own shots, but yeah, it wasn't that long of a fight, and there's really not a whole lot to take away from this fight other than Petroski. He doesn't really have a chin. I know he's not like he's getting actually clipped on the chin, but man, he gets a great, it reminded me, and maybe I had to go back and rewatch. I've only seen it one time. But it reminded me of when he got KO'd by Malkoun's hip again. It was like a short left hook. It's not like it was nothing, but he just went down like a sack of potatoes, and you could just tell that it was over right then and there. So Cam Rowston gets it done, gets a first-round KO over Andre Petroski. Next fight on the card, the feature. Is this the feature prelim? Or is this the main? Why is this the main card fight? Why is it not labeled here? This is the feature prelim. Okay, here we go. We have Navajo Stirling versus Rodolfo Bellato, the guy who pretended to get KO'd by Paul Craig. Early in the first round, Bellato tried to clinch, but really got outworked. Stirling was stronger than him, doing better. Was outstriking him. Late, they had a crazy brawl. Stirling was just ripping to the body, ripping uppercuts. Bellato was throwing and landing some shots, but Stirling clearly won the first round. Second round, Stirling was winning on the feet. Then ended up getting a takedown against the fence. Got some good ground to pound. At one point in the second round, Bellato was crying about the head pressure of Stirling. Almost like he was trying to hunt for a DQ again. And then eventually was able to get up, and Stirling was starting to tire out late in the second round, and Bellato started to come on a little bit late in the second round. And then the third round was pretty competitive. So first 2 rounds were clearly Stirling. Third round, Stirling was really tired, and Bellato was pressuring a lot. Got a takedown, but really didn't get any damage with it. And then it was like Stirling in the last 30 seconds came on strong and threw some big shots, and I thought that stole him the round. Now, I don't think this is a very impressive performance from him because I don't think highly of Bellato at all. And the fact that you're kind of going to war with him and you're gassing out in the third round and you're supposed to be a professional athlete. And granted, he did put out a lot of volume, so I'm not ready to like bury the narrative that Stirling has no cardio. So in 2 years, we can say, so-and-so early or Stirling early or so-and-so late. We know there's a lot of fake cardio narratives out there from a lot of bums in the MMA media. I'm not ready to co-sign that yet. But overall, just kind of a bummy performance from both guys. It was a fun fight in the first round. Second and third left a lot to be desired. But essentially, Stirling was better everywhere. And Bellato was just swinging wild and crazy and hoping to find a KO. I like the body work from Stirling. I don't feel like enough guys in the UFC mix in the body work, man. He was ripping to the body. Then when Bellato would go low to block, Stirling would start ripping uppercuts to the chin. So I like that from him. It was a gritty fight. I think it was a good, kind of experience, building fight for Navajo Stirling. And he gets the win. He won 30-27 in my opinion. He beat up Bellato. But I thought it would be a little bit more impressive. I thought he would find a finish against Bellato. Next fight on the card, opening up the main card, we have Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. This was a fun fight while it lasted. It really was. This was a nasty, nasty win from Tom Nolan. And honestly, early Campbell was landing good shots, dropped him, but he wasn't like rocked badly. Then he waved him up, and as Nolan started to get up, he started to pressure in again, but then waved him back up. It was a weird kind of exchange. Campbell was landing the better punches early, but Nolan was landing the better kicks, chopping at the legs, throwing some body kicks as well. And I could just see kind of the writing on the wall as Campbell's starting to get a little bit crazy and wild and exchanging in the pocket, and he's getting countered, but he's landing the better shots. And then Tom Nolan, I think what really changed this fight, but as I'm watching Campbell pressure him, I'm going to get to that shot from Tom Nolan in a second. As I'm watching Campbell pressure him, I can see the writing on the wall. Like, if he doesn't find a finish soon, I think he's going to start to wear down because Nolan was attacking the body. Nolan was chopping the legs. And then sure enough, right as I'm having that thought in my mind as I'm watching it live, Tom Nolan lands a spinning back kick to the body, flush. And you could just see Campbell's arms drop immediately. And then basically after that, it was all downhill. Nolan started landing the better shots. Then they clinched up. And then in the clinch, Nolan just easily took him down. Really, I hate to say it again, really effeminate cucky vibes from Charlie Campbell on the takedown. And once I seen him taken down, you can go back and watch my live stream. You don't believe me. I said, it's over. It's over. Campbell's ready to quit. The body shot did it. Then the follow-up shots. Then the fact that he just kind of gave up, got taken down easily. And then Tom Nolan locks up a rear naked choke and taps him out in the first round. Great win from Tom Nolan. I think Campbell's actually a decent fighter. I think Tom Nolan's kind of on a tear now. I think I think he deserves a step up in opposition. And he took some damage in this fight, but he was able to weather the storm, be smart, not get too crazy, counter shots, and that body shot was filthy, spinning back kick right to the body, and I think that really changed the fight. I think Campbell was already starting to wear down and thinking, oh shit, what if I can't get him out of here? And then once he ate that body shot, it was like the momentum had officially changed at that point, and Nolan knew it, and he really went after. He knew he's wearing down. He knew he got him with that body shot, started landing way better shots, eventually just ragdolled him to the ground and took the rear naked choke. And you could just see at that point, Campbell kind of wanted out. I could just tell from the second he got taken down that he wanted out of the fight. And Tom Nolan gets it done via first round rear naked choke. Next fight on the card. We have Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. I told you, look how young this face looks over here. I told you Neil Magny may treat Jake Matthews like he treats his toddler son, or maybe the way how he brags about the way he treats his toddler son. And we got Mike Malott 2.0. We really got Mike Malott 2.0. Neil Magny wins via third round anaconda choke. Jake Matthews quit on himself. It was an embarrassing performance. I mean, there was a lot of humiliating performances on this card. Jake Matthews definitely is a strong number 2. Okay, we haven't got to the first most embarrassing moment of this entire card, which we're going to get to in a second. But essentially, there was a controversial moment in this fight. I don't know necessarily how to feel about it just yet, but we'll break it down in a second. So first round was very competitive on the feet. Matthews seemed like he was kind of hunting for a KO, but Magny would have combinations. And then it seemed like Matthews was starting to get out ahead a little bit. Magny shot a takedown. Wasn't really close to getting it, but Matthews like kind of tried to latch up a guillotine and like just went down to his back anyway, which I thought was a horrible decision. But then he immediately starts actually latching up something, reverses in the full mount, gets a mounted guillotine, starts cinching up the choke. Magny looks like he's in a bad spot, like he might get tapped here, and it's almost the tail end of the round. And as Magny looks like his arm's dropping like he's going out, the referee jumps in at 1 second and stops the fight. And Magny's like, what? And then they say, oh, the fight's not over. The fight's not over. Keep going. You know, we're going to keep going. It's in between rounds. Now, I initially thought the ref just preemptively was like a little bit early because he didn't want the choke to be held in. Like a lot of times when there's a close submission, the referee gets real close because he wants to make sure to break it right as the bell goes. And I thought that's what he was doing, but on the replay, no, he was stopping the fight. He was stopping the fight, and then he decided, no, wait a second, I made a mistake. Let's keep going because it was the last second anyway. The bell had went off. So Matthews thinks he won for a second. Magny thinks he lost for a second. And then the ref's like, no, the fight's still on. So I don't know how to feel about it because I don't think you should be able to retroactively fix it. But at the same time, I think it was the right call. I think it's what was fair to Magny because Magny wasn't out. Had that one other second passed and he waited till the bell actually rang, Magny may have been out by the time it was stopped, and then he would have been able to wave it off. So Matthews finally realized he didn't win. Comes out in the second round. Magny shoots a sloppy-ass takedown, ends up on bottom, ends up getting mounted. Then there was a mounted triangle. Matthews starts doing some damage. Then eventually Neil Magny sneaks out. Clear 10-9 for Matthews. Looks like he has it in the bag. And then somehow in the third round, he just completely quits. I don't know if it was because he was gassed or what. They're striking. Magny shoots a takedown. He pulls the guillotine again. He ends up scrambling. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. He scrambled, but he ended up mounted somehow off the scramble, off the guillotine. But then he got back up, shoots a double leg, and Magny like picks him up and big brothers him a little bit. And then basically Matthew quits. He just kind of lays on his face. He's grimacing. And Neil Magny just cinches up an anaconda and it's over. So we got Mike Malott 2.0 and Jake Matthews. Really humiliating performance from Jake Matthews. Wins the first 2 rounds and then just straight up quits in the third round. It was kind of suspicious if you ask me. And he deserved to lose. The way he was fighting, I mean, the body language prior to that. And again, I don't know if it was the gas tank. I don't know if there was some type of injury. But he really just straight up quit in the third round. All he had to do was just try to grit it out, defend a little bit. But he literally just laid there waiting for Magny to cinch up an anaconda choke. Like there was no defense at all. He was laying flat on his face, grimacing, waiting for Magny to lock it up. It was like there was no defense at all. So I'm going to chalk it up to maybe exhaustion, but it's not like he had a crazy output. But I'm sure he's going to be pissed about this one because he had it in the first round. But I think the ref made the right call. Even though it was kind of bullshit, I think the ref actually made the right call. Neil Magny gets it done. I think Neil Magny's probably on his way to getting cut soon. He really is shit, man. I know he got it done, and Jake Matthews is Mr. Inconsistent. I told you guys the dogs were going to be barking. I told you guys Magny might whoop him. But yeah, I think Magny's going to be one of those guys that probably the UFC's like, hey, you know what? Neil Magny keeps winning. We're going to cut him anyway. We don't need him. But until then, he's going to be fraud checking some of these clowns on their way up in the welterweight division. I mean, getting how crazy is that? The same thing as Mike Malott. Neil Magny gets it done, third round, anaconda choke. Next fight on the card, we have the featured fight of the card. A featured fight of a UFC card nowadays. Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Taveras. Look, there's not much to say about this fight. Ramon Taveras pressured nonstop, but Jack Jenkins hurt him with a head kick in the first round. Kind of went on the attack a little bit. Taveras was able to survive. Shot a couple takedowns. Started grappling a little bit more in the second round. There was a groin shot in the first round from Taveras. There was a groin shot in the second round for Taveras. I think it was a knee to the groin in the clinch in the second round. Jack Jenkins basically spammed head kicks the entire fight. They both shot a couple takedowns. I think Jenkins got a takedown in the second round or a trip in the center. I think it was. Oh, yeah, like a crazy, like he jumped in. I forgot what it's called, but he like tripped him, kind of caught him off guard, took Ramon Taveras down in the center of the cage towards the end of the second round. And then the third round, Taveras shot, even though he was doing okay on the feet. Jack Jenkins ended up getting him down, did some damage, and Goddard's like, work, buddy, work, buddy. And Jack Jenkins is working ground and pound, looking to open up Taveras for a submission. Literally, Goddard was like screaming, work, work, work. And then 2 seconds later, Jenkins almost locked up a rear naked choke. So Goddard with another horrible reffing performance. It drives me up a wall. But I had Jack Jenkins winning all 3 rounds. There was a moment where Taveras got him down right after. Actually, didn't get him down. After he reversed a rear naked choke, survived the rear naked choke attempt. It was very close. Shook him off. Taveras ended up on top. Jack Jenkins seemed like he was accepting the position and then kicked him off, kicked him halfway across the cage. And then Taveras shot again. He ended up on bottom. Jenkins did some damage there as well, right at the tail end of the round. I had Jenkins winning all 3 rounds, 30-27. He gets the decision on the judges' scorecards. In the featured fight of the card, Jack Jenkins, Ramon Taveras, featured fight of the card. What a joke. Co-main event. Talk about a joke. Co-main event. Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. I don't even know what to say about this one. I really don't. Jimmy Crute gets it done in the first round. Rear naked choke, I guess. Crippler crossface, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It was a WWE move. Erslan quit. Maybe this is recency bias. This was the most pathetic, embarrassing, humiliating performance I have ever seen from a fighter in Erslan. I mean, I don't know if anything could possibly be worse than what Erslan did in this fight. And Jimmy Crute's a fucking cheater, by the way. But I'm not going to sit here and defend Erslan for being a total beta soy boy. I'm not kidding at all. I know people are like, Joey, how dare you criticize the fighter, man? How dare you criticize them fighters, brother? They step in the cage, brother. Erslan's a bitch. He got submitted by a fucking modified crippler crossface. I mean, seriously, Jimmy Crute's going to go... You know what? I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say Jimmy Crute's going to go home after this, and never mind. That's a horrible joke. A modified crippler crossface. Essentially, this was the submission he got submitted with. This is almost an exact submission. That's an exact replica of the submission that Jimmy Crute got. Erslan was tagging him in the first minute. Then Jimmy Crute shoots a double leg with ease and takes Erslan down with ease. Erslan got up at one point, up against the fence, but then just let Jimmy Crute ragdoll him back down, face down, like he was just ready to quit already, even though he hadn't taken any damage. Then Jimmy Crute took his back, standing. Jimmy Crute had his toes in the fence over and over and over again to help him with the balance, taking the back and controlling the back. And then Erslan finally shook him off, was in a good position, and just kind of was a beta. And I know Crute grabbed the fence, pushed off the fence to reverse it, but it wasn't just the fence grab. I've rewatched it before I've recorded this video. It wasn't just the fence grab. It was Erslan being a total beta soy boy who straight up quit on himself already. So he gets reversed. He ends up on bottom. Jimmy Crute then takes the back again and is essentially trying to flatten him out. You know when a fighter reaches down, grabs him, and tries to flatten him out, use their hip pressure. And as he's doing that, Erslan's trying to get up a little bit, and he just has his arms like this underneath the chin, just right here on the outer portion of the chin. It's not up against the neck at all. It's not restricting any blood or airflow. And he's just pulling him up a little bit. And Erslan's just taps out. I couldn't believe it. You point to me a more pathetic moment in an actual fight. I don't know if you can find one. I really don't know if you can find one. They say rear naked choke, but it's not a rear naked choke. It really isn't. There's probably a WWE move that would be similar to this. I mean, this is the equivalent of getting finished by a tombstone pile driver. This is the equivalent of getting finished by a rock bottom. This is the equivalent of getting finished by an ankle lock, an angle lock. This was pathetic, embarrassing. Cut Ivan Erslan immediately. Get him out of the fucking organization. And this is a co-main event. Does he have no shame? Jimmy Crute wouldn't do me like that. And I would, even if I didn't train a day, he wouldn't do me like that. He's going to choke me out cold. He's not going to get me with this. He's going to get me with this move. What? Dude really showed up for a paycheck, got a co-main event in a bummy-ass Perth, Australia card, and just came in there to quit? I think Erslan bet on Jimmy Crute by first round sub. That's my bet. Because there's no way somebody can be that pathetic. There's no way. But Jimmy Crute gets it done. He does some super uncoordinated backflip afterwards where he kind of tears both of his ACLs. His footwork is absolute dog shit. I swear Jimmy Crute has CTE. He moves differently nowadays. And now he thinks he's good. I mean, Jimmy Crute is now Dominick Reyes 2.0. Gets 2 wins. People are going to start hyping him up again. He's a scrub. He has no chin. His striking is dog shit. Erslan's a scrub. So we're getting fairy tale wins that are meaningless, and now we're going to hype him up. I don't think anyone's going to hype him up all for it, but you get my point. The UFC's going to try to sell him like, Crute's back. He's not back. Erslan's a scrub. Embarrassing, pathetic, beta, soy, all the nasty pejoratives that I can think of for Ivan Erslan in the co-main event. We had to watch Jimmy Crute, Ivan Erslan in the co-main event in 2025. What an outright shame. What an outright shame. So let's just go ahead and move on, okay? Main event, the one fight on the card that actually matters. Carlos Ulberg versus Dominick Reyes. Carlos Ulberg, first round brutal KO. I called this almost down to a T. And during my live stream, I called it down even closer. I said, oh, I can already tell. He's going to get sniped. Oh, boom, he sniped. Oh, my God, he's done. I don't know Dominick Reyes. 5 strikes, my ass. Look, I don't believe these stats for 1 second. Unless these are all leg kicks. 5 strikes, my hairy ass. Okay? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So, basically, the way the fight went was Reyes was running around on the outside. Ulberg was jumping in and out, looking for opportunities to counter. Reyes was never throwing. There was a couple leg kicks. There was a clubbing left hand that Ulberg landed. And then essentially, late, Reyes kind of moved in a little bit. Ulberg hit him with a jab and then an overhand right and slumped him down bad. I mean, he fell bad. I mean, he went down like a sack of potatoes. The ref didn't jump in immediately, even though he was done. Ulberg follows up with one big right hand and just slumps him out cold. Nasty win from Ulberg, but this is kind of a weird win. First off, why is Ulberg's name showing, but Dominick Reyes isn't? I mean, I got to scroll up now, and I just realized that. I mean, this website of a multi-billion-dollar company. How do we not have this in line? I know this, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a conflicting win because light heavyweight is trash, let's be honest. I think Ulberg's probably the second best light heavyweight. I really do. But a win over Dominick Reyes doesn't mean anything. He did exactly what he was supposed to do to Dominick Reyes. Anything less than a KO in the first, second round for Carlos Ulberg was an embarrassment, in my opinion. People were like, man, Reyes is back, brother. His chin's gone. He beat up a couple scrubs. And like people think, Joey, why are you shitting the fighters? I'm just being honest. I'm giving my honest opinion. Reyes' chin is gone. And when I seen him tonight too, before the fight even, again, go watch my live stream. You don't believe me. I'm like, damn, Reyes is looking pudgy as hell. And he's talking about the title again. And we got the John Jones curse ready to come back with a vengeance. And Ulberg's in his prime and hasn't really taken any damage throughout his career. And sure enough, boom, jab, boom, overhand right, slumped. But again, as much as I think Ulberg does deserve the next title shot, and I do believe he's the second best light heavyweight in the world, I get people saying, well, he beat Dom Reyes? What is it, 2020? I think Ulberg should be next. I don't think Yuri or Khalil should get another title shot. To be honest, Khalil already got an undeserved title shot of beating the dead corpse of Anthony Smith. I don't care if he beats Yuri next week. And for Yuri, he's already gotten, 3 title shots? It's time for some fresh meat. I think if Ankalaev beats Pereira, we need Ankalaev versus Ulberg. I know people cry, Joey, oh my God, they don't got no Instagram followers, man. Where's their personality? Shut the fuck up. I'm tired of hearing that. I want to see the best versus the best. I want to see the champion not hand-picking contenders, not the UFC hand-picking contenders what's best for business, only to see the dumbass Dana White sycophant say, well, pay-per-view buys, man, ratings, man, Instagram followers, personality, shut the fuck up. Ulberg on a crazy winning streak, most deserving, and I think most dangerous guy right now. Versus if Ankalaev wins, I mean, think about win streak versus win streak. I know it's not the sexiest name value. Oh, Magomed Ankalaev, Carlos Ulberg, who wants to see that? I do. I do that. I don't want to see Yuri get another title shot just yet. Win a couple fights, bro. Win a couple fights. I know he's won some. I know he whooped up on Jamal Hill, got vengeance for Jamal Hill's brother. But everyone's beating Jamal Hill at this point. Pudgy ass. So, good win from Ulberg. Again, I think Reyes is a scrub, so I get it. You can say, oh, he beat Reyes. But I think the win streak speaks for itself. I think the layout of the division speaks for itself. And to be honest, Reyes isn't that bad of a win when you consider how shit the light heavyweight division is. Yuri's best win going into a title fight was Reyes. Khalil's best win right now is Jamal Hill, who's a straight-up scrub, maybe even worse than Reyes. Jamal was a phony champion. So I'm on the Carlos Ulberg train. I don't think he beats Ankalaev, but I think it would be a very high-level striking match, and I think Ankalaev is the better striker, so I would pick Ankalaev in that fight. But, man, the light heavyweight division is going to play out over the next couple weeks because next week we got UFC 320, boys. But, yeah, if you expected Reyes to win, you're a casual. If you were picking Reyes to win, you were just, banking on hope and prayer, I guess, and like, man, Reyes is coming back, man. I can already imagine there's some betting bros who's like, man, I got 30 units on Reyes. I can feel it. I just got a feeling, bro. I just got a feeling, man. I got all these units. I got all these units on Dominick Reyes, bro. Nah. Reyes' chin is gone. You're getting KO'd by a jab, and you're going to pick him versus fresh, prime Ulberg, who hasn't taken any damage in his career. Nah. And Reyes didn't touch him, man. Reyes did not touch him at all. So Dominick Reyes is nothing like Sean Strickland's dad. Because, yeah, Dominick Reyes didn't lay a hand on Ulberg. Didn't touch him at all. So, masterclass performance from Ulberg. This is the type of win he actually needed. Going to war with Reyes would not get the same argument for me to give him the title shot. I want to see him as the true #1 contender fighting the winner of UFC 320, depending on how the outcome would go. If it was a close fight, maybe Pereira gets a brutal robbery because of his star power and his Instagram followers and whatever else, his aura. Then maybe you run the trilogy back and you do Ulberg versus the winner of Yuri versus Roundtree in the meantime. But yeah, Ulberg gets it done. UFC Perth. And I think that's it, boys. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later this week for some UFC 320 content. Thanks for watching.